Hey everyone, welcome to 59 Tops Friday presented by Wax Pack Wisdom, where we talk baseball history through the cards we love. My name is Jake T. O'Donnell. We built the iconic 1959 Topps baseball set, and in this series we're going through every card to talk about the players, teams, and people who made up Major League Baseball in 1959. Today we'll cover cards 270 through 277 in the set. Card number 270 belongs to Gil Hodges of the Los Angeles Dodgers. 1959 was Hodges' 14th season in Major League Baseball. Hodges grew up in Indiana, where he was a multi-sport high school star who elected to play baseball in college after turning down a contract offer from the Tigers. He wouldn't say no to the Dodgers in 1943, and he was briefly called up late that season. Hodges missed the next 2 seasons serving in the Marines in World War II, earning the Bronze Star. Upon his return, he learned to play catcher in the minors in 1946, and came up to Brooklyn for good in 1947. The arrival of Roy Campanella pushed Hodges back to first base permanently in 1949, when he hit .285 with 23 homers, made the first of 7 straight NL All-Star teams, and was a key part of the Dodgers' pennant-winning squad. From there, he continued to be a power-hitting presence on many memorable Dodgers teams, littered with Hall of Famers and stars. Hodges hit 32 homers in 1950, and then 40 in 1951. In August 1950, he hit 4 home runs in a game at Ebbets Field against the Braves. The Dodgers made it back to the World Series against the vaunted Yankees in 1952 and 1953, but the Dodgers lost both years. Hodges hit a career-high 42 homers in 1954, but in 1955 he would help lead the Dodgers back to the World Series, and this time they won their first championship in franchise history. Hodges hit a homer and batted .292 in the series. In the Dodgers' final year in Brooklyn in 1957, Hodges made his 9th and final NL All-Star team, finished 7th in league MVP voting, and won the first Gold Glove for his prowess at first base. He'd win the next 2 as well. In Los Angeles in 1959, Hodges won his 2nd World Series title, hitting .391 with a homer in the series. From there, injuries slowed his production, and the expansion Mets selected him for the 1962 inaugural season, where he would hit the first homer in franchise history. He retired as a player during the 1963 season, but before the year was over, he accepted the Washington Senators' managerial position. He would stay there through 1967 with little success, and ahead of 1968, he returned to the Mets as manager. The team was burgeoning with young talent, and 1969 would be their miracle season. Hodges' most memorable moment as a manager came in Game 5 of that year's World Series when he successfully argued a pitch hit Cleon Jones in the foot by pointing out a speck of shoe polish on the ball, leading to a home run by Don Clendenin that tightened up the score. The Mets would win that game and the World Series. 2.5 years later, Hodges' life would be tragically cut short by a fatal heart attack suffered after a round of golf with his coaches in spring training. He was just 47. Efforts to get Hodges posthumously elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame were unsuccessful for years, as the writers never elected him, and he came up short on 6 different Veterans Committee ballots. Finally, in 2021, the Golden Days Committee elected Hodges to the Hall of Fame. Card number 271 belongs to Orlando Peña of the Cincinnati Redlegs. 1959 was Peña's 2nd season in the major leagues. Peña was from East Central Cuba, and during a time when major league teams were allowed to have direct presences on the island, Peña attended a tryout camp with the Reds in 1955. Out of 286 attendees, Peña was one of 3 to be offered a contract, and his stateside career began. He debuted for the Reds in the latter half of 1958 as a reliever and was a staff mainstay the next year, throwing 136 innings with a 4.76 ERA. Peña spent most of the next 3 seasons in the minors before a trade to the Athletics in 1962, who tried to turn him into a starter. He was effective in 1963 in 217 innings, but led the AL with 20 losses. The next year, he led the AL with 40 homers allowed, and starting in 1965, he pitched mostly out of the bullpen for the rest of his career. Peña would go on to appear for the Tigers, Indians, Pirates, Orioles, Cardinals, and Angels. In 14 total MLB seasons, Peña had a 3.71 ERA in 1,202 innings pitched and a 56-77 win-loss record. After pitching a few more seasons in the minors, Peña took a scouting job with the Tigers and later scouted for the White Sox. As of this recording, Peña is 90 years old and turns 91 in November of 2024. Card number 272 belongs to Jerry Lumpe of the New York Yankees. This was the 4th big league season for Lumpe. He signed with the Yankees out of Missouri in 1951, and he continued to play basketball from Missouri State while playing in the minors. The Yankees were in the midst of their 1950s dynasty, and Lumpe didn't get much of a chance at regular playing time in the infield after he arrived in the Bronx in 1956. He did have 4 hits in the 1957 World Series and earned a championship ring in 1958 after getting 2 hits in that series. The Athletics traded for Lumpe early in 1959. While never hitting for much power, Lumpe batted .285 in 4 full seasons as the A's starting second baseman beginning in 1960. He was acquired by the Tigers in 1964 when he made his first and only AL All-Star team. Lumpe retired after 4 seasons there. He was an A's coach for 1 season in 1971. Card number 273 belongs to Joey J of the Milwaukee Braves. 1959 was Jay's 6th MLB season. A native of Middletown, Connecticut, Jay had 2 important distinctions as his big league career started at the age of 17 in 1953. He was one of the first players impacted by MLB's bonus baby rules that forced him to debut as a teenager, and he was the first Little League alumnus to appear in the majors. Jay only pitched in 31 MLB games total through 1957 as the bonus baby rules impacted his development. In 1958, he became an effective member of the Braves' pennant-winning staff, throwing 96.2 innings with a 2.18 ERA. Despite pitching well in a few different roles, Jay could never break through as a permanent member of the Braves' rotation, so the Braves traded him to Cincinnati in the offseason after 1960. This was a shrewd move for the Reds, as Jay unlocked his potential, leading the NL with 21 wins and 4 shutouts, striking out 157 batters in 247 and a third innings and a 3.53 ERA, earning All-Star honors, a 5th place NL MVP finish, and he helped lead the Reds to the NL pennant. Jay threw a complete game victory in the only win the Reds had in the series against the Yankees. The next year, Jay again won 21 games for the Reds. His numbers began to falter a bit in 1963, and by 1966, the Reds had given up on him, trading him back to the Braves, where his MLB career ended after that year. In retirement, Jay enjoyed a long career in business. As of this recording, Jay is 88 years old and turns 89 in August of 2024. Card number 274 belongs to Jerry Kindall of the Chicago Cubs. Kindall did not appear in the major leagues in 1959, however, he had played the previous 3 years. He spread 11 years in the big leagues between the Cubs, Indians, and Twins, primarily as a second baseman. Kindall attended the University of Minnesota. In 1956, he was a member of the Golden Gophers NCAA Division I championship team. He became the first person to hit for the cycle in the history of the College World Series. After his victory at the College World Series, Kindall signed with the Cubs as a bonus baby. He signed at that time to help his family financially, even though the bonus rule would likely result in less playing time. After being sent back down to the minors after his bonus baby years were completed, Kindall began to develop more as a player in the minors. He spent all of 1959 in the minor leagues. Kindall became a regular second baseman for Cleveland when he was traded there in 1961, but continued to struggle with consistent offensive performance. In 1964, he was traded to the Twins in a 3-way deal, where he would share second base with a half dozen other players, but still failed to stand out offensively. He was released by the Twins in 1966, and with a bad leg from a previous muscle tear, he was unable to sign with another team and began looking for jobs. Following his major league career, he went on to work at his alma mater, the University of Minnesota, before landing a head coaching job for the University of Arizona Wildcats, winning 860 games and 3 College World Series championships during his 24 seasons there. With his coaching career, he became the first person to win College World Series titles as a player and head coach. He was elected to the College Baseball Hall of Fame in 2007 and died in 2017 at the age of 82. Card number 275 belongs to Jack Sanford of the San Francisco Giants. 1959 was Sanford's 4th year in the big leagues. Sanford was a right-handed pitcher who spent his 12 big league seasons between the Phillies, Giants, Angels, and Athletics. He played minor league baseball for multiple years before making his major league debut with the Phillies in 1956 at the age of 27. In 1957, Sanford was named National League Rookie of the Year. He made the All-Star team and was the NL strikeout leader. He ended the 1957 season with a 19-8 win-loss record, a 3.08 ERA, 15 complete games, and 3 shutouts. He would enjoy several solid seasons after 1957, but none quite as impressive. Sanford led the Giants to the 1962 NL pennant, leading to his only World Series appearance. He finished second in voting for the Cy Young Award to Don Drysdale that year. He later ended his playing career with the Athletics at the age of 38. Following his major league career, Sanford worked as a golf director for country clubs. Sanford died in 2000 at the age of 70 after battling a brain tumor. Card number 276 belongs to Pete Daly of the Boston Red Sox. 1959 was Daly's 5th year in the big leagues. Daly spread his 7 years in the big leagues between the Red Sox, Athletics, and Senators. Daly spent the majority of his big league time with the Red Sox as backup catcher for Sammy White. 1956 would prove to be his most productive season, where he had career-high numbers of a .267 batting average, 5 home runs, 29 runs batted in, 22 runs, and 11 doubles. Over his major league career, he hit .239 with 18 home runs and 120 RBIs in 391 games. Following his major league career, Daly reportedly took over management of a bowling alley and pro shop in the Boston area. He would later move to California, where he worked as a salesman for health and beauty aids. At one point, his daughter got Daly vanity license plates that read X Red Sox. As of this recording, Daly is 94 years old and he will turn 95 in January of 2025. Card number 277 belongs to Turk L of the Chicago White Sox. 1959 was Lowndes' 8th year in the big leagues. Lowndes was a right-handed pitcher who spent 11 seasons in the big leagues between the Cubs, Redlegs, and White Sox. Lowndes was nicknamed Turk because when he was a kid, he enjoyed eating turkey. Lowndes, a native New Yorker, signed with the Brooklyn Dodgers in 1942. His baseball career was interrupted by military service in World War II, where he would earn a Purple Heart for his service, including at the Battle of the Bulge. He later returned to minor league baseball, making his major league debut in 1951. Lowndes led the National League in successive seasons in games finished in 1956 and 57, while topping the National League in games pitched at 67 in 1957. In 1959, he led the American League in saves and games finished to help lead the White Sox to the AL pennant. Lowndes did not give up a single run in his 3 appearances in the 1959 World Series, which the White Sox would lose to the Dodgers. In 1959, Lowndes was 50% of what was called baseball's most brilliant bullpen combination with Jerry Daly. He finished his career with a win-loss record of 55 and 61, a 4.12 ERA, and 574 strikeouts and 73 saves. In retirement, Lowndes returned to Pueblo, Colorado, where he previously played minor league ball and met his wife, Violet. He would go on to work as a mail carrier in Pueblo for 23 years. He celebrated his 90th birthday in Pueblo with his wife, children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. Lowndes would call Violet his best friend for life. Lowndes died in 2016 at the age of 92 after a battle with leukemia. That's going to do it for this edition of 59 Tops Friday on Waxpack Wisdom. Today's episode was written by Abby O'Donnell and Jake T. O'Donnell. Do you have a story about one of the people, players, or teams we discussed today? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear it. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of our Waxpack Wisdom content. In the video description, you will find source material for this episode, links to where you can follow us on all social media channels, as well as a list of our favorite nonprofits and charities. Please consider a donation to one of them if you enjoyed this content. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time on Waxpack Wisdom. Take care.